Welcome back to the channel. It's Sean Rampersad here again with another kick-ass financial video. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a topic that people have been approaching me about, people have been calling me about, and it's tips for home buyers. Now, as you know, I buy a lot of property. I like to buy properties to flip, properties to rent, and properties for my own personal enjoyment. Now, over the years, I've bought hundreds and hundreds of homes, and I'm going to take the experience that I've learned, and I've created a list for you of things that you need to watch out for if you're going to be buying a home. At the end of the video, I'm going to share with you some of the sneaky tricks home sellers do to trick you into buying their property. So things to watch out for. Make sure you watch until the very end of this video. And if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me a lot and it will help you make money and save money. So let's get right into it. The number one thing that you need to start off by doing is to get an idea of what your credit score is. So know your credit score. That is an absolutely huge thing that you need to know before you get into buying a property, because if your credit score is below 600, it becomes very, very hard to buy a property. The bank will not approve you. Well, a standard bank won't. If you have less than a 600 credit score, you have to put 20% down on a property. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So know your credit score. The number two thing is obviously save for a down payment. So the standard down payment that you have to save for is 5%. That's the minimum kind of down payment that you need to buy a house. There are some workarounds. There's one called zero down and another one called cash back, that type of thing. Another one called flex down, where you don't need to save the full 5%, but standard to get the best rates, you need 5% for a down payment. So whatever price range you're kind of shopping in, make sure you have that 5%. After you know your credit score and you know you have the down payment, now it's time to get pre-approved for the mortgage. And this is where I come into play. So I'm a mortgage broker, and what we do for you is we get you pre-approved for the mortgage. So I'll go and I'll shop around at all of the banks with your credit information and find out who's going to give us the lowest rates. And then I put you in for a rate hold. So you want to know how much you're pre-qualified for before you go out with a real estate agent. Absolutely. And there's some pretty big benefits to it. Number one, I can get you discounts on lawyers. I can find real estate agents for you that are top notch. And over and above that, it saves you from any disappointment. The disappointment I'm talking about is you going to look at a property that you may not qualify for at the bank. So let's make sure you get pre-approved first. Just call me and I'll get it done for you. I can have it done for you in 2 hours and then go shopping for a property. Next, you want to create a realistic budget of what you feel like you can afford monthly. So I don't know what your lifestyle is like, but my lifestyle, I know I have some pretty significant expenses. I've got a vehicle loan. I'm going to add that new mortgage payment onto my overall budget. I love to travel. I like to go to restaurants. I like to go out and party once in a while. So there are some expenses involved, and I have children. So, of course, children activities. So I take all of those expenses together and I take what my income is and I create a budget for myself to know what I can afford monthly. You don't want your mortgage payments to be a hassle for you. You want it to just feel like it was when you were renting. You know what I'm saying? Next, you want to research all of the first-time home buyer or all of the home buyer benefits that your state or your province has available. So in Canada, for example, they have the first-time home buyer incentive. They have the RRSP home buyer incentive. So there's several home buyer incentives. They have the Métis home buyer incentive. So these things are things that will benefit you, the freebies by the government where they'll help you get into your property. So make sure you do your research first or ask me what is best for your area. Next, you want to prioritize your needs and wants. So you're going to want to look at several things when you're considering your property. You're going to want to know how many bedrooms you need. Do you want it to be a modern property? Do you want a house? Do you want a condo? Whatever that might be. So sit down with your significant other, or if you're by yourself, sit down and make a list of what you need and what you're looking for in a lifestyle. Now, when you're making this list, take into consideration things you like to do. For example, if you have kids, you're going to want to research the school board in the area. If you are single and like going to the gym, you're going to want to make sure that there's a gym that you like nearby. If you don't like to move around a lot, you want to make sure that there's grocery stores nearby, and you're going to want to look at the bus if you don't drive a vehicle. So those are just examples of some of the things that you need to take into consideration and prioritize yourself, because you're going to start making a list with this information that you're going to give to your real estate agent, and then it'll be their job to meet those qualifications, or else you don't buy. So the next step is choosing a real estate agent. Now, there's tons of real estate agents in every city. Some of them are part-timers, some of them are new and might not be totally fluent in what they need to do for a first time home buyer. So you need to take all of this into consideration and make sure you ask around about reputable real estate agents. This could be the difference between you paying 500,000 for something or 450,000 for that same thing. So you want to make sure that you're dealing with people that know how to negotiate, that understand the market well, and feel free to contact me anytime if you have questions about real estate agents and who's good and who's not, because I will be able to give you the answer ASAP. Next, you're going to start shopping around. Some people shop around on realtor.com, realtor.zillow. There's a whole bunch of different MLS systems. So whatever country you're in, you're going to want to go and you're going to want to type in local MLS into your Google search and find out who is good in that area for searching for property. So look around within your price range, obviously, maybe even 10 grand above, because you can negotiate down sometimes. But take a look within your price range, and then we will be able to kind of choose the type of property that you want to look for. Maybe pick 5 or 6 properties. Don't pick 20 of them, because it'll just bombard your mind. Pick 5 or 6 properties that you're going to want to go and look at, and that you're going to want to share with the real estate agent. Write down the MLS number for that property or the property address, and then give that information to the real estate agent that you've chosen, because then they will be able to contact the other side, find out if there's any deficiencies or offers in on those properties, and then take you to those properties to go for a viewing. When you find a property you like, I recommend that you go and view the homes at different times of day. So, for example, let's say you found a property and you say you like property Second Ave and First Street, whatever property address it is, doesn't really matter. But if you like that property, go check out what the activity is like in the morning, and also check out what the neighborhood is like in the evening, because the evening brings out a whole lot of different things. The morning also brings out a whole lot of different things. There could be major traffic. If you want to avoid traffic, then that may not be the property for you. So check it out at different times of day. When you're creating your budget, make sure you factor in all costs. You want utility costs in there, you want insurance costs, HOA fees, which are homeowner association fees, or condo fees, could be on there as well. Some neighborhoods don't have HOA fees, so you may not have to put that in there. But factor in utility costs, that type of thing as well. What I like to do when I'm buying a new rental property is I like to ask the previous owner how much they're paying for utilities every month. That'll give me an idea on what I'm going to have to dish out every month. And then I create a budget for it. And that's what I base what I'm charging people for rent. So take all of that into consideration when you're considering your budget. Please do your research on the neighborhood. I've had a lot of customers buy over the years and not like the neighborhood they're in, especially if you're coming from a different city and you're relocating to a new city. Right now, there's a lot of people moving from Toronto, Ontario, and from British Columbia to Alberta because there's a lot of jobs in Alberta and the real estate is cheap. So that's just an example. Wherever you are located, make sure you do your research on the neighborhood. The next thing I want you to consider is future resale value. So, number one, I would never buy the largest property in a neighborhood because all of the other properties are going to bring that property value down. So that's usually not a great idea. At one time in my life, I had purchased this one property and I thought it was great for me when I bought it. It was brand new and it was a 3 bedroom, 2 bedrooms up, 1 bedroom in the basement. That's a huge mistake. Uh, but it was also a bi-level property. And what I didn't realize is most families are looking for 2-story properties. So most families want to have the bedrooms upstairs, the living area, living room and kitchen on the main floor, and then have a basement on top of that in some homes. So uh, I made a couple of mistakes. One was I put 2 bedrooms on the upper floor. 3 bedrooms are generally preferred and they're better for resale. 2 stories are also better for resale than a bi-level property. So I did not get what I thought I was going to get out of this property based on what I felt I should get. So just keep that in mind. Consider resale value in the future because this may not be your end property. During this process, make sure you do not make any big financial changes. I wanted to just bring this to light because I've seen it happen loads of times. So a person goes, they get pre-approved for a mortgage. Then they go shopping for real estate. They make an offer on a house. They get approved for the mortgage, but then they go and take out a car loan before the possession date. If the lender finds out about the car loan, then you may not get approved for that mortgage. So please do not do anything without speaking to your mortgage broker. If you want to reach out to me, just please call me anytime. My number is going to be in the comments below because I will walk you through step by step all the things you should do and shouldn't do when you're buying a house. So, next step after this is to be ready to act really quickly. So, some markets are buyers markets, some markets are sellers markets. When you find the house of your dreams, you're going to want to be able to jump on it and take action very quick. The reason being is because that same house is probably the house of someone else's dreams as well. So you don't want other people going in and stealing that from you. You want to get your offer in quick. You want to be aggressive, and then you want to close the transaction. So make sure you're prepared to move fast. But that being said, you don't want to fall in love too quickly to a property. So I know when you walk into the first house that you walk into, it's going to be exciting. Your family might be with you. There could be some very encouraging things about a property. Let's say you walk into a property, it's got all new modern flooring, that type of thing. Make sure you look at the rest of the details in the property because the other details might not be as great. Don't get blinded by the hot tub or the new floor. Make sure you're thinking with your mind and not getting overexcited about the property. Overexcitement could lead to a lot of things. It can lead to one, you maybe not getting the property because you underbid and somebody outbid you, or it could lead you to purchasing a property and not considering other factors that need to be considered. And I'm going to continue talking about those other factors in the rest of this video right now. So just keep that in mind and make sure you stay to the end of this video. Like I said, I'm going to be sharing some schemy tricks that that home sellers sometimes do to make the property look like it's a better value. Next thing I want you to take into consideration is the commute. So everyone works, most people work, but consider the commute to wherever you're going. If you don't work, consider the commute to the gym or the grocery store or whatever that might be. But make sure you consider the commute to your workplace, especially if you have to drive an hour to go to work and an hour home because you love this specific house, then it's not that great of a deal for you. You'll end up spending $100 to $200 more in gas a month. That could have gone towards you buying a house in a different area, possibly closer, and more time back for yourself. Make sure you get every single thing that you want and expect in writing. So when you're making that offer on a property, if there's fridge, stove, washer, dryer, dishwasher, whatever is included in the property, make sure you have it written down. I've also seen people replace refrigerators, replace stoves with lower end models. So I would take pictures while you're in the property to make sure that kind of thing doesn't happen to you. If there's a pool table, sometimes that's included. Sometimes there's a hot tub included. Make sure you get it all in writing. Other thing you got to do is check out your homeowners association rules and make sure you can do what you want to do in the area. If the homeowners association doesn't let you paint the exterior of the house black, for example, and you really wanted a black house, then this may not be the house for you. So read those. Look beyond the staging. A lot of people will look at the staging of a property and just be thoroughly impressed with the staging and not consider the rest of the features of the house. So don't get blinded by anything. And of course, you're putting this real estate agent kind of in charge of what you're doing, but make sure you also understand the market you're in. You don't want to get pushed into doing anything that you don't want to do. So if the market you're in is a seller's market, for example, and the prices of homes are going up, 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 you want to make sure that you're not overpaying for anything just because. So make sure you understand your market, what type of market you're in. If you do have questions about that, feel free to call me and I'll be able to tell you, yeah, you're in a seller's market or you're in a buyer's market. You need to do this in order to get a property because there's a whole bunch of different buying styles that you need to understand if it's a buyer's market versus a seller's market versus a kind of level market. And I've done videos on all of that. So feel free to like kind of go through the videos that I have on my channel that explain what you need to do in a buyer's market, what you need to do in a seller's market. Right now, in the city I'm in, the seller's market is where it's at. It is an absolute seller's market. It's hard for people to get homes. The buyers are going into bidding wars. It's things are going over list price, that type of thing. So you need to know how to buy, and you need to make sure you have a real estate agent that will be able to walk you through on how to buy the property. What a condition into your contract. So there's multiple conditions that I like to put in my contracts. I often do inspection. I often do financing. I usually always do a financing condition. So basically what a condition is you make an offer on a property. Let's say they accept it, but you have conditions. So one condition is inspection. If you don't like what you see on an inspection, then you're going to be able to renegotiate with them if something comes up on inspection that you don't like. So, for example, I'm selling a house right now that has a bunch of work that needs to be done to it. So the people that are buying it from me put a condition in that I am to do such and such repairs prior to possession. And I did that for them because I want the property sold. Make sure you do a final walkthrough, okay? It's important to do a final walkthrough on the house. I like to put that in as a condition because you want to make sure that the house is clean, it's in good shape before you take possession of it. Nothing worse than somebody leaving all their crap in a house and you having to get rid of it. I've bought so many houses where people have just left all their stuff, all their junk. Nothing good, of course. I did one just the other day. They had a cannabis plant and that was the only thing that was good about the house. And the people left everything but the cannabis plant. It was unreal. They left their bed, their dirty ass couch, everything. And it was a mess when I took possession of the property. I was very disappointed. And it's because I didn't have that condition in. The more conditions you have on a property, though, the less appealing it might be for a seller. So if it's a really good deal, you might have to go with no conditions if your financing is 100% in place, and you have to talk to your mortgage broker about that. So make sure you talk to me about that because we don't allow people to do unconditional offers unless their financing is triple A and you're going to get approved for sure, or else you can get sued. Nobody wants that, right? Make sure you get a good lawyer. So most people don't know a good real estate lawyer. There's all kinds of different lawyers out there. You want a real estate lawyer. So make sure your lawyer knows what they're doing, has your best interests at heart, has the facilities to be able to do the transaction properly. There's some lawyers that are kind of general that try to be jack of all trades. That's not what you want. You want someone that's really good at residential real estate. So call me if you need a referral to a good lawyer. I also get discounts for all of my clients on lawyers. So if you're looking for a mortgage, call me and I'll hook you up with a discount on a lawyer. Make sure you find out about insurance. Insurance is a huge, huge thing. So you want to find out if a property is insurable prior to you taking possession of the property. The reason being is there's a lot of reasons that could make a property uninsurable. For example, I want to buy a house in Hawaii right now. So I was on a Hawaiian website and I was finding out about insurance in a specific area, and there's certain areas that are uninsurable because there is lava flow that goes through the neighborhood. So I definitely learned right away, don't buy in these areas because they're uninsurable. So you want to make sure that that is the case. In Canada, there's another thing where that makes a property uninsurable, and it's if you have lower than 100 amp service coming in for your electricity. So that's a $3,000 repair. So you want to make sure that if you're in Canada, you have 100 amp service. In the US, in some states it's 150 amp service that is required. So if it doesn't have that, a lot of banks won't finance it. A lot of insurance companies won't insure it. So you want to make sure that your property is insurable prior to you uh, going solid on your offer. Check what's underneath the snow. Okay. So I bought a house about 6 months ago, and it was all snowy where I was at, and I didn't bother looking underneath the snow. So I didn't have an inspection on this property. I bought it unconditionally. It was a great deal. I was buying it to flip. So basically, what ended up happening is the shingles were crap, and that was all fully covered by the snow. It didn't look like they would have been because the exterior of the house had new siding on it. So I just assumed that the shingles were going to be okay. They weren't. So it ended up costing me an extra 10 grand. Also, you might find that there's dog feces all over the yard, surprises that you don't want to have. So just check what's underneath the snow, and that'll fix those problems. Smell for mold when you're walking down a basement. Look for new baseboards, look for new drywall, look for the smell of new paint in a basement because those could be indications that there was water damage and there was a potential crack in the wall of the house. So many homes have cracks in the foundations. You have no idea. It's like every third or fourth house I buy has a crack in the foundation. Some of them are hairline, some of them are big, but there's a lot of cracks in foundations, and water and bugs can get through these cracks. So you want to make sure that the house that you are buying doesn't have this problem. And if it does have this problem, it has been remediated. Okay. So just watch out for that if you are going into a house and you're going to make an offer, or especially an unconditional offer. Let the inspector do the test. And on that note, when you hire an inspector, make sure that they have the humidity gun. A lot of inspectors don't have the humidity gun because it's very expensive, but if they have it, it will save you a whack of problems. One house I bought the other day, it didn't have insulation in a whole section of the house. So it would be freezing cold in the wintertime in this house if I did not know about this and put new insulation there. So make sure you hire an inspector that has this kind of stuff. Guys, thanks again for watching the video. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Please like and subscribe and check out my other videos. It's awesome. It'll save you money and time. Thanks.